Have you ever wished you could just lock in a price today for something you know you're going to buy, like months from now? Maybe it's a plane ticket for that vacation, or that new phone you're saving up for. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on two really powerful financial tools that do exactly that: forwards and futures. Let's dive in and see how they work.
I mean, this is the big question, right? We all deal with price uncertainty. You've got farmers trying to sell their crops, companies buying raw materials, even investors managing their portfolios. They all face this very real risk that prices are going to move in the wrong direction and mess everything up. So how do you fix that?
Well, the first and most basic solution is, well, just a simple promise. It's an idea that's been around forever, and it's been formalized into something called a forward contract.
At its core, a forward is just a private, custom-made deal. You have two people, a buyer and a seller, and they just agree on a price, a quantity, and a future date for a trade. You can really think of it as a handshake deal, locking in all the terms today so there are no nasty price surprises down the road.
This example with the goldsmith is perfect. Let's say you want to buy gold in a month, but you're worried the price will go up. So you go to the goldsmith and you fix the price now. He agrees, no money changes hands, no gold is delivered, it's just the promise. That's it. You've just entered into a forward contract. Sounds simple, right? Maybe a little too simple?
Yeah. As it turns out, that simple handshake has a couple of major weaknesses. Because what happens when one person in that deal has a really strong reason to just walk away? And that brings us to the two big risks. First, you've got counterparty risk. Think about it. If the price of gold suddenly skyrockets, what's to stop that goldsmith from just selling it to someone else for a much higher price and leaving you high and dry? Then there's liquidity risk. This deal was tailor-made for you. What if your plans change and you need to get out of it? Good luck finding someone else who wants that exact same deal.
So to solve these huge problems, the market needed an upgrade. It had to take the brilliant core idea of the forward contract and make it safer, more reliable, and frankly, open to way more people. And that's where the futures contract comes in.
This is the absolute game changer. A futures contract takes that same idea, locking in a future price, but it adds three crucial upgrades. 1, they're standardized. 2, they trade on a public, centralized exchange. And 3, there's a third party that guarantees nobody can back out of the deal. This table lays it all out perfectly. You can see how every feature of a futures contract directly fixes a flaw in forwards. Instead of being private and custom, they're public and standard. That standardization is what lets you trade them easily, which totally solves that liquidity problem. But the biggest one? That counterparty risk is just gone. It's guaranteed by a clearing corporation. Now, this guarantee isn't magic, right? It's built on a really clever set of rules designed to make the whole market safe and efficient for everybody involved. So let's take a look at how that system actually works. Okay, rule number 1 is that everyone has to put some skin in the game. It's called the initial margin. Think of it like a security deposit. Both the buyer and the seller have to post some cash up front. Now, this isn't a down payment on the asset. It's just collateral to prove you're serious and that you can cover any potential losses. The second rule is honestly an absolute stroke of genius. It's called marking to market. Here's the idea. Instead of waiting weeks or months to see who won and who lost, the exchange settles up all the profits and losses at the end of every single day. So here's how that daily settlement goes down. At the end of the day, the exchange sets an official price. Then, it goes through and marks everyone's position to that price. If your position made money that day, cash gets dropped right into your account. If it lost money, cash gets taken out. It's that simple. And what this does is prevent huge, scary losses from building up over time, keeping the whole system stable. So, what does the risk and reward actually look like? Well, for someone who buys a futures contract, that's called being in a long position. It's a straight line. As the price of the asset goes up, your profits go up, with no ceiling. But, and this is a big but, if the price falls, your losses can be just as huge.
And for the seller, the short position, it's an exact mirror image. They make money if the price goes down, but they face unlimited risk if the price starts to rocket upwards. This perfectly symmetrical linear payoff is one of the defining features of futures.
Okay, I know this might sound complicated, but the way the market actually figures out the price for a future, it's surprisingly simple. How does everyone just decide what gold should cost 1 month from today? It all comes down to a concept called cost of carry. The fair price for a future is basically today's price, the spot price,
plus any costs you'd have to pay to carry that asset until the delivery date. You know, for something like gold, that'd be the cost of borrowing money to buy it and the cost to store it safely in a vault. That's really it.
So you have this really elegant system, and it attracts three very different kinds of players, each with their own goal. And it's all of them working together that makes this market tick.
You can think of them as the risk manager, the profit seeker, and the efficiency expert. Or, in market lingo, they're called hedgers, speculators, and arbitrageurs.
First up, you have the hedgers. These are the people we started this whole conversation with. They're the farmers, the airlines, the big corporations that come to the futures market to get rid of risk. They aren't trying to make a profit on the trade, they're just trying to protect their business from wild price swings.
So, who takes on all that risk that the hedgers are trying to offload? Well, that's where the speculators come in. They're the ones who willingly accept that risk, betting on which way they think prices are going to go. And, they sometimes get a bad rap as gamblers, but they play an absolutely vital role. Without speculators, hedgers would have nobody to trade with. They provide the liquidity that keeps the whole market moving.
And finally, you've got the arbitrageurs. These guys are like the market's referees. They're constantly on the lookout for tiny little price mistakes. Like if the futures price drifts even a penny away from that cost of carry model. They jump on it, make a risk-free profit, and in doing so, they instantly pull the prices right back in line. They keep the market honest.
So when you get all these players, the hedgers, speculators, and arbitrageurs all buying and selling, what you end up with is this incredibly powerful piece of information. As this quote says, the futures price becomes the market's collective best guess of where the price of something will be on a very specific day in the future.
So, the next time you see a futures price for oil, or corn, or the S&P 500, just remember, it's not just some random number. It's a window. It's a real-time signal showing you what thousands of people all over the world expect to happen. So, the only real question left is, what is that price telling us